What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here in the Undead Hordes index here on the game, or on the main account. We are going to be talking about this upcoming Halloween fusion that we're going to be getting here soon. We just have the details released on the champion today. She is named Morrigaine and has a pretty interesting kit we're going to talk about here in a second. She's Undead Hordes, for some odd reason, Magic Undead Hordes, which surprisingly they only have a couple of those, but we needed another Undead Hordes legendary, like we needed a hole in the head. They could have done like Organ Tribes this time, maybe, since they still only have 8 legendaries. But yeah, they're going to get another one. We just recently got Ultimate Death Knight. You can see here, of course, I'm still missing some of the good ones. We still don't have all the legendaries here, but Harvest Jack was a past Halloween champion. He is pretty cool, but let's go ahead and just pull the kit up here. I'm going to pull her screenshot up here on the screen, and we'll talk about it for a second, and I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on whether or not, you might want to try to go for this champion. We just had a fusion, so we're coming off that one. I know a lot of people skipped that one. I skipped that one on my free-to-play. I did get it on the main account, and something I want to kind of talk about ahead of time is on my main account, I'm at a point in the game where I'm in game. I can get these fusions done relatively easy, like almost on accident. So the last fusion we had, I really wasn't excited about her, the Dark Elf, but it just kind of I just did it either way because it was so easy to get the events done. When you get to a certain point with your account, you can usually just go through it like you're sleepwalking and get the fusion done. And I usually do them on the main account anyways because I'm bound to pull a duplicate of that champion at some point because I pull a lot of fusion duplicates. So that's going to give me an extra Guardian later on for the Guardian ring in the faction Guardians. So that's kind of why I go after it in the main. It's not that I'm actually going to use any of these champions. And I kind of wanted to give that perspective because you're going to get a varying level of utility out of these fusion champions depending on where you are in the game. And I think it's kind of interesting. You see a lot of these in-game content creators that hype up all these fusions when it's like they're not even really ever going to use that champion. But it's a lot easier for them now. They have the test server. They don't have to actually do the fusion now. They can save all their stuff and just go play with the champion on the test server. Most of us don't have that ability, so we have to kind of decide whether or not we want to go after the fusion. So let's talk a little bit about her kit here. She has the A1 with the 30% decrease speed for 2 turns. She's got the A2 with a chance of stealing all buffs. Looks like that's bookable up to 100%. And placing the True Fear debuff as well. And if it's a boss, they're going to get decreased accuracy. She's got the A3 here, which is kind of nice. You got the 75% chance bookable to 100 to decrease the turn meter by 20, fill the turn meter of all allies by 20, and then put the 30% increase speed buff on your team. So a nice little speed booster there. Passive is a little interesting. Places 100% heal reduction for 2 turns on the enemy with the lowest HP. This cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or allies. I don't really understand this passive that they gave her. And these kits, sometimes I just think they throw darts at the wall and decide how to build the champion's kit. We've been getting some really odd kits with these fusion champions. And I think this year has been kind of hit or miss, mix and match, I guess, with some of these fusions. Now, in looking at her kit just off the bat right here, on my main account, I don't have any need for this champion. I have Lysandra that I use already for my, just typical speed boost like this champion has on her A3. We'll talk about that here in a minute and why I'm really not that excited about her on my main. I might be able to get some use out of her in 3v3 just for that A3 ability. I don't like the A1 or the A2 because they're single target, and Raid as it stands right now, the way the game is, it's a game that's all about AoE attacks, hitting all the enemies with as much as you can, debuffing as many enemies as you can with 1 turn. So it's almost like these single target champions don't have much of a place in a lot of places in the game. So you're trying to bring in as many AoE debuffs and attacks as you can usually, especially for like dungeons, Doom Tower floors, things like that. So she'll probably be more of a boss specialist. I could see her for the Dark Fae boss with the decreased speed on the A1. That's going to be useful on any type of boss you want to try to slow down. And then also for, of course, the A3. Now, overall, I feel like Lysandra is still a better champion if we're talking about the straight-up speed manipulation and turn meter. I think she's got a better kit for it overall. And she does have this nice increase ally speed in battles by 19%. And this is why I kind of talk about where you are in the game and whether or not you're going to need the champion. Like for someone like me on my main, this doesn't really do much for me. Like I said, I'd probably just use her in 3v3, maybe on the Dark Fae and a hard Doom Tower. But on my free-to-play, I would love to go after a champion like this because I don't have Lysandra on that account. So I don't have that major, turn meter, speed booster type thing for the arena outside some of the rare and epic options. So she would be kind of nice. However, on my free-to-play, I honestly, again, I'm not really super sure where I'd need her because I play that account a lot more casually. It's not like I'm trying to push Platinum Arena there. I can farm Gold 5 just fine. She'd be helpful in 3v3. I'm trying to push up into Silver 4, I think, on that account now. But I don't really need her per se. And I've already skipped the other fusion there, so it might be kind of nice to just skip 2 in a row and have all those resources for when they actually bring out something that's going to be a massive game changer. And I just don't see her being a massive game changer for either of my accounts at this point. My free-to-play account, of course, is getting kind of late game too, so again, it's all a matter of where you are. Now, if you're an early game or mid-game player, I think this is definitely going to be a great champion to go after because of the utility her kit is going to bring. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about Lysandra too, so let's get her screenshot off here, and then we'll go into the index and just bring up Lysandra, who is one of the pretty strong legendaries in the game even still. She's been out for quite a while. But her kits, basically you got the transfers all debuffs from her on the A1. So you don't have the decreased speed. I think that's one area where Morrigaine's a little bit nicer because she does have the decreased speed on the A1. Now your A2 is going to attack one enemy, fully deplete their turn meter. Again, this is great for a boss like the Dark Fae boss. This is great for arena if there's a target you want to make sure is not going to get a turn. You can use this on her there. And then you got the A3, which is a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Fills turn meter by 30% and decreases enemy turn meter by 30. So it's basically a very similar A3 to what Morrigaine has, but you get better percentage on this. And it's also on a 4-turn cooldown, which is pretty similar. The only difference here is you have a place the buff, and then it automatically decreases the turn meter. On Morrigaine, it says you've got the chance. It's bookable to 100%. But I don't know if that means she can get resisted, and I don't know if I've ever seen Lysandra get resisted on the A3, so I don't think it can be because it doesn't say chance. It just decreases. So I think that's one thing. Even if it does say 100% chance on Morrigaine, I think you're still going to have that, that 3% that kicks in. You can get it resisted from time to time, or you're still going to have that accuracy and everything there. So it's interesting. I think overall, like I said on my main account here, I've already got Lysandra. You've got actually a better all-battle speed aura on her as well. So 2 legendaries who have very similar things in their kit, but Lysandra's numbers are a lot better on hers, where their abilities are similar. Like I said, I just don't understand the passive for Morrigaine. I don't know how you would really use that with the heal reduction. I guess you'd have to team her up with somebody else. Maybe you use her with a Mortal Macabre and she goes first and puts the heal reduction on somebody, and then you're guaranteed to hit that block buffs with him afterwards. I mean, other than that, I don't really get how the passive really goes into her kit. Because heal reduction is not very useful in a lot of places in the game. It's useful for Fire Knight. It's really off the top of my head the only thing I can think of right now. Maybe a couple other areas, but for the most part, Fire Knight's really the only place I think it has heavy use. If you think of something different, be sure to let me know down in the comments. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. Like I said, I think if you're early game, mid game, you're trying to get some of that speed boosting and turn meter decrease for certain bosses, and the A1, speed down is always pretty nice on the A1. She's going to be definitely a good utility champion you can get for your account. I'm not buying into the super hype like everybody else right now, because we saw what happened with Uko, and he got hyped through the ceiling and then wound up not being that great. And a lot of people regret going after that fusion. So I'm going to kind of stay on the fence on this one. Like I said, on my 2 accounts, I don't really see where I'm going to wind up using this champ. So I'm not super high on her, but I understand that she might be pretty good for some newer players and some middle of the game players. So definitely, evaluate. I always say this, every account's different. You want to take a look at it and, do you have the resources to go after it? Is it something that's going to help your account for where you are in the game? That's the decision that you have to make. Don't listen to a content creator telling you skip the fusion or don't skip the fusion. Like, you have to make that decision. on your own, based on your account, based on what you feel is best for you. So that's what I always try to tell people: make that decision yourself. And as always, remember, you got to try to have fun with the game. And if it's going to make you miserable trying to pursue a fusion like this, it's going to drain all your resources, you don't think you're going to be able to finish it, then maybe you just pass on it and, you know, build up and wait for the next one, because we know we're going to get one every month, so there'll be another one around the corner. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Just wanted to give a quick rundown on this fusion. I don't know if this is a fragment or a traditional, if there's going to be any other champions involved with it, so hopefully they'll let us know that, and then I'll be able to take a look at those, because like with this last one, even though I did skip it on the free-to-play, I went ahead and got Prosecutor, who wound up being a pretty good rare for Fire Knight. So if you're looking for the Fire Knight progression, you know, she was a good rare to pick up from that fusion. And once in a while, you'll get a good rare or a good epic in some of these fusions. So we'll see if that comes to pass here. But if you guys have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave it down below, and I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.